I'm the only one that didn't graduate college
And I
in
want
my
to talk about
household.
that.
But I am the first millionaire. So,
You see what I'm saying?
I am a tomboy. I played basketball. Y'all know what that's like, I'm sure. But I also am a girly girl. It's like the best of both worlds. So I do like pampering myself. And so I learned very quickly, okay, if you want to pamper yourself, you got to pay for it and you got to work hard. And so that's what I did.
So many things to go over, but I want to get into motherhood a little bit.
Oh my goodness.
And the reason why is because Happy Wednesday, winners. It is our favorite day of the week, and you are now tuned in to another weekly episode of Talk It Out, the Ladies in Motion podcast, where we shine light on women that's winning in the local community. I'm your host, Madam Walker, and I am so excited about today's winning lady. Her name is Jennifer, but some of you may know her as Jenni The Boss. She's built a name for herself in Atlanta and across the country for the last 6 years. She's the founder and the CEO of Jenni Nailed the Block Incorporated, a nationwide training program for teens and adults looking to start a career as a nail technician. She also founded Beyond the Chair Academy, her mentorship program for technicians currently in the field looking to expand. And she worked behind the chair for 2 years, y'all, before finding her passion in teaching and mentoring, which I think is amazing. Just 2 years? That's not even a long time, okay? But that's somebody that was intentional, okay? And Jenni created her own training curriculum and began her #1 rated nationwide tour in 2023, amassing over 2,000 plus students. I am so honored because I've followed this woman for such a long time, and she really is the boss, the bossiest boss of all bosses. And I'm honored to have her on this platform. I need you all to welcome Jenni The Boss to the show. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited. This platform is all about just giving women their flowers while they're still here and they can smell them and receive them. And you are someone who is winning. I'm not from here, you know what I mean? So when I first came here, I made it my business to get in contact with the bossiest women. And I'm honored to, have now met you full circle. I was following you for a while before I even met you.
I love that.
So that just goes to show you your impact, though, and how you show up online for your business. It matters because it attracted me and it's attracting several different people. So welcome to the show, and thank you for walking boldly in your purpose.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you. So I'm super excited to get into this because Jenni got an amazing story. So I'm excited for you to tell it today. I like to start these episodes with the beginning of adulthood.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
Taking it back.
We taking it back, okay? So you graduated high school in 2009, but before that, and then we'll go on. Just tell us a little bit about your childhood, though, and your upbringing. It's like entrepreneurship, something that you've seen growing up, or did you come from a home like, no, you better be a doctor or a lawyer?
Or giving the latter.
Just let me know what that was like, okay? Because in my research and consulting with you, I found out that you are a pastor's kid.
I am.
Okay, so just tell me, what was the expectations from you growing up, and what was your childhood like?
Right. So I grew up in a Caribbean household. My family is from Antigua. And for those who don't know about Caribbean households, they are very strict, very close-knit, and very serious about education. That was the biggest thing. My parents wanted all of us to be successful, wanted us to be educated, wanted us to be knowledgeable, wanted us to be the top in whatever fields that we chose. And so I was on a very strict kind of course as far as my life goes. Graduate high school, go to college. If you're not married, you're staying at home. You're not leaving until you get married.
Right.
That was kind of like the course that I was set on. And it just didn't really fit with me. I'm kind of like a get me out the box type of person. Don't box me in too much. I found out very quickly that even though I did really well in high school, college just was not my thing. I was just kind of on a different path at the time and found entrepreneurship. It just kind of landed in my lap. It was not something that I always aspired to be a part of. I never thought of owning my own business. I didn't really even know a lot about that. They were really teaching us a lot about business in high school and things like that. It was all about...
Which is a shame.
It is. And I feel like times have changed, so that's good. But it wasn't really even on my radar. It really fell into my lap when it did happen. But I am still very educated. I didn't graduate college. I'm the only one that didn't graduate college
And I
in
wanna
my
talk
household.
about that.
But I am the first millionaire. So
You see
it's
what
okay.
I'm saying? So I do want to talk about that,
Yeah.
just because I think college is important to just touch on.
Yeah.
Just because I'm a person that started college, stopped college, started college, and
Yeah.
stopped college, and it looks different for
exhausting.
everybody.
Yeah.
And it is exhausting, especially when you already know what you want.
Right.
You know what I mean? I didn't see the bigger picture. It's like, But I want to ask you, because I think your college journey is special.
Okay.
I do. In doing this, I figured out that you went to college for basketball.
I did. I was on a
Initially.
scholarship. I'm a basketball player.
So
Back in the day.
she been balling, y'all. So just tell me a little bit about your college journey. What made you go to college? I know your parents, were
Kind of forced it. Yeah.
Kind of forced it. But just tell me about your decision to go to North Carolina.
Yeah.
Go to school, play basketball. I remember you told me you had to choose. It got to a point where you had to choose between nursing and basketball. Like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna pursue education only. And shout out to Alicia Miller, who was featured on the show, our #1 most downloaded episode.
Really?
She talked about how she's a traveling nurse practitioner and a speaker at our vision board party.
Okay.
Y'all better be in the room.
Zap in.
Okay. But she talked about how it got to a point where she had to choose between softball and nursing.
Oh, okay,
but she gave up softball. And if you know her, that had to be a big decision.
Oh,
so I want
yeah.
to talk about you and yours, just your college journey, going from basketball, leaving college, all this and that.
Oh,
Tell us
yes.
that, okay?
My college journey was very interesting. So I went to school out of state, and because I grew up in more of a stricter household, I would say, I kind of got out there and went a little wild. I was doing my own thing, making wrong choices, not hanging around the right people all the time. Just getting into trouble. Honestly, I can't really put it any other way. Don't want to sugarcoat it. That's just a part of my story. It made me who I am. So that was pretty much my college journey. I did have to make a choice at the time, but I was getting into trouble. And my dad was like, you're coming back home. You're coming back home to Georgia. You're going to finish school here. We're going to take away all the distractions that you got. We're taking away basketball. We're just honing in on nursing school. That was like the trajectory that they wanted me to go on. My grandma was a nurse. Yes.
So you're already kind of
It ran in the family.
Right. So it ran in the family. But did you want to do that at all?
Now, let my dad tell it. He will say, swear up and down that that's what I wanted to do. But I was like, I feel like I was one of those college students that really didn't know. I know that I loved sports. I loved basketball. I loved being a part of the team. I loved going to school out of state. I just really didn't know what I wanted to do as far as like my future. I really wasn't thinking that far. I was kind of like living in the moment.
I feel that.
Yeah, and that's kind of been a little challenge to me, just being an entrepreneur now. I really live in the moment and enjoy the moment. That sometimes I don't think, okay, what are we doing in the next 6 months? We got a plan. Like, what's the concert looking like? What's the tour looking like?
Right.
So I am very much an in-present type of person. And so I just kind of was going with the flow. But when I did start getting into trouble, it was best that I come back home. So I'm glad that they did that. Came back home, was going to Georgia State. My credits didn't transfer because I was going out of town to school. And as you know, I'm sure you know how that goes.
Right.
And I just made the decision. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I want to work. And I decided to work. My dad was like, take a year off. And I never went back.
That's amazing to me because, like you said, you millionaire, first millionaire, only sibling that didn't go to college,
Only
but the first
sibling.
millionaire. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I absolutely love that because sometimes, our parents don't know our journey, our spouse don't know our journey, our best friend, our sibling, they don't know our journey. But when you continue to march forth, and what you know is good for you, then it's a full circle moment. That's when it becomes that full circle moment, right?
I love that.
So in doing my little research and just speaking with you, I realized that you didn't do nails until 10 years after you graduated. 2019 is when you started.
I'm telling you. I was just working.
I was going to ask, in
What were you
between that time, what was you doing? And were you in I feel like I always say on this platform, God always leaves little nuggets along the way that later on you see as a full circle moment. But what were you doing in those, what were you doing between that time? And were you always a creative person? Because doing nails, that's a creative skill.
It's so creative.
So tell me about them 10 years. Tell me.
Okay, so I really am not, y'all. One thing that I will say that my parents definitely instilled in us was hard work. We are very, very hardworking. You know how they be talking about the Jamaicans, how they say have 3 jobs. That's really the same, I feel like, for all islanders, but we work very, very, very hard. And so no matter what I was doing, I wanted to be the best at it. So I was just working in the meantime. I loved having my own money. That was always the force that kept me going. 2, 3 jobs, I didn't care. I wanted to be able to pay for what I wanted,
I
and
love
I
that.
did. Pay for my hair, my lashes, my nails. I've always, even though I am a tomboy. I played basketball. Y'all all know what that's like, I'm sure. But I also am a girly girl. It's like the best of both worlds. So I do like pampering myself. And so I learned very quickly, okay, if you want to pamper yourself, you got to pay for it and you got to work hard. And so that's what I did. I was just working my butt off, just getting my nails done on a regular basis with the nail tech that I was going with. And she had mentioned to me, I'm about to open up a salon. I know that you work hard. I need some girls to do some pedicures.
Wow.
Will you take my class? I think, you'd be a good candidate. Are you interested in that? And I fought it. I honestly did.
Really?
Because I'm not a creative person. When I tell you, I won't say I'm not creative. I do not do a lot with my hands.
Okay,
I'm
that's
used
so
to being
interesting.
pampered. I rarely do my own makeup. I never do my own hair. That's just something that I've just decided I'm not getting into.
Get somebody else to do
Definitely
it.
never did my own nails. Not on the radar at all. So I was never a very handsy person. I was like, no. But I did take her class. I gave myself a chance, and I worked really hard at it. I still remember taking my little rubber practice hand. I was working in the front desk at a country club, and I would practice my nails before my boss got there at the country club reception desk. Over and over, I used to take my hand out of town. I was so determined. I don't know where it even came from. I just knew I was like, I like this. I'm gonna practice it. And so I'm one of those people that practiced and got good at it. It wasn't just something that naturally happened.
Wow.
So how that's transitioned into me being a good instructor, there's girls that come to me all the time. Can I do this? I don't know. I'm not good with that. It doesn't matter. If you have a good teacher and you learn something and you put forth hard work, you could be good at it. It doesn't have to naturally come, because it didn't naturally come to me. I just worked really hard at it.
That's nice to hear. You know what I mean? Because some people think like, if you're like my loctician where she's always been hands-on, like maybe this came naturally for you. Or even my cousin, creative, always, even me talking. All this have been, and just having all these questions, I've always been like this,
yeah.
So it's cool to hear that you, bossed up Jenni.
Yes.
Like this is not like you just kind of got into it. You didn't even want to do it.
So what made
you? What gave you your yes? What made you finally like say yes and take the chance though?
Okay, so I started my nail journey in 2019. COVID had not officially hit yet, but I knew that this was something that I wanted to do. Worked hard. Was doing my friends' nails at the time. They looked trash, y'all. Like I really started from the bottom. When I say start out the mud, that is my truth. And it took me about 2 or 3 months to feel like this is something that I really wanted to do. But what was really like the driving force was when we were forced to quit our jobs. Like I got to the point where I was slowly because I was working 2 jobs at the time. I was working 2 jobs, a full-time, a part-time, and I was doing nails on the side.
Just crazy.
just hustling out the living room. That's who I am. So it got to the point where my schedule was so busy. I was like, okay, the part-time job, we letting it go. I'm making more money doing nails, so that's that. COVID still hasn't hit yet. I'm doing my full-time and my nails. Then it got to the point where COVID hit, and we had to kind of make that decision. But then some of the jobs were just cutting us. And my job basically cut us. I really had to step out on faith, like mentally before it happened, because I know it's coming. But, getting that split, it was like, okay, this is it. You actually have gotten to the point where there are more people asking you for appointments than slots that you have. So let's do it. Let's accept these appointments. Let's get these girls on the books. At the time, I was doing nails at 9 p.m. at night, 10 p.m., midnight, 5 in the morning. It doesn't matter when you wanted to come get your nails done, I was doing their nails. I was doing what everybody didn't want to do.
Yeah.
Taking those appointments that people didn't want to take. And when it got to the point where I wasn't working, my schedule was wide open, it was just like boom, boom, boom. And one thing about Decatur, okay, once word of mouth hits, it's over with.
Well,
I was doing
that's good to
auntie,
know.
grandma, daughter, cousin. I was doing I was like the household nail tech.
That's what's up.
And it just blew up, literally.
Today's episode of Talk It Out is sponsored by Letters to My Sis. Letters to My Sis is a powerful nonprofit organization founded by Melissa Riley that's all about empowering women and girls through sisterhood, mentorship, and community programs. Their mission is to create spaces where women can heal, grow, and uplift one another. From empowerment events to mentorship initiatives, they're helping women step boldly into purpose. You can connect with Letters to My Sis on all platforms at Letters to My Sis. And if you believe in women supporting women, visit letterstomysis.com to learn more, donate, or get involved, because together we are our sister's keeper. Thank you, Letters to My Sis, for sponsoring today's episode. I think it's amazing that you were doing nails for only a few years before you even start teaching and mentoring. I think that's amazing, especially when it's something you just kind of fell into.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's how God works.
It is.
You feel me? In between them 2 years, before you got to the point where you were teaching and mentoring, what was it like mastering your craft in that lane that you were in?
So the biggest thing that I learned within those 2 years behind the chair was managing my time and managing my finances. When I first started doing nails, and even in those first 2-3 years, I'm literally just now getting my bearings on what I'm doing and keeping all of my payments and my money in one platform. I recently started using Square about 2.5 years ago, but before then, it was Zelle, Apple Pay, Cash App, Cash. There was money coming in from everywhere. I knew I was making money, but I had absolutely no idea of how much. I had no idea what I was spending. I knew money was there and I knew I was gonna make it back. That was it. That was the only two things that matter. And so that's not a very healthy place to be as far as an entrepreneur goes. You always wanna be ahead of your finances. You wanna know what's coming in. You wanna know what's going out. I was raised to be very organized with my money. And so going through those 2 years where stuff was just coming in from all places, I was never in a business degree. I didn't know anything about business. So I was just kind of keeping it all in my personal checking account, not understanding the repercussions of that. So that would be one of the biggest things that I learned, just keeping my finances in one place, getting a reins on them, knowing what's going in, what's coming out. That was one of the things that I had to overcome within those first 2 years behind the chair. Also, being organized with my time. Now that I'm a mom, I'm very organized. But before my mom stage of life, I was all over the place. I'm a very much so Energizer bunny. So I'm never tired. I'm always going. Like I said, I was doing nails at midnight. I still might pop out and go out with my friends after. Like I was just doing too much, not being organized with my time. Knowing that, okay, if you're at the club till 3 o'clock in the morning, you have a 6, 7 a.m. appointment and you're hungover trying to do somebody's nails and designs, that might not go as you planned. It's not gonna work. So just going through the growing pains, just being a new entrepreneur, new in business, new to doing nails, still trying to live my social butterfly type of lifestyle. And it really took me getting serious. I'm very much so playful and still like myself and still fun. But I am way more serious about my business than anything else. Like, it's literally a switch. When it's business stuff, you'll see a whole different side of me than normal, just because I'm that serious about it. Like, this is my passion. We have to make sure things are done right. And I was very much like playful and joking about it in the beginning. I didn't realize how much I was making and what impact I could have on my following and my students and stuff. And so now I'm just a little more responsible, I would say, with my time.
And so you have more than 2,000 students. Right. Who taught Jenni how to do nails, though? Like, where did you learn this skill?
So I'm actually not going to say me and my nail instructor we do not have a good relationship. We never have. Well, I won't say we never have. In the beginning, I started just being a client of hers. So we just came to her to get my nails done. I am normally good friends with people who serve with me. A lot of my good friends to this day have been service providers at some point in time. And to be honest, that was the same for my story too. A lot of my clients are still good friends of mine to this day. I feel like if you're cool, that's just how it goes. So we got closer, went to each other's birthdays, stuff like that. When it got to the point that I started my teaching brand, because she had started teaching before me and had been doing nails long before me, it just got very, very shady. It got very much so antagonistic. Like, it was just an awful experience. I didn't have the mentor that I am, that a lot of my students and mentees have. I really had to find my own way as far as a lot of things when our relationship fell out. So I won't name her because we don't have a good relationship, but it was a good class. I will never take that away from her. I always speak highly of the class. I learned what I was supposed to learn. I think I am a better teacher, but I learned what I'm supposed to. I learned what I'm supposed to learn, And it allowed me to realize, okay, here's what not to do in my class. Here's what I need to add for my students so they don't feel like how I feel. And so my journey with my instructor was very good in the beginning, but got extremely rocky. And it also got to the point where people who followed both of us, they had to pick a side for the most part. It got to that point, and I'm not that type of person.
Right.
It was just a lot of shade. So that's something that I'm able to teach my students about, to be wary of. They'll never feel that from me. I'm their biggest cheerleader. I want my students to excel. There are some students of mine younger than me that do nails way better than I could ever dream of. That's what I want. That's more money for me because more people don't want to come to my class. I will never shade a student. I don't understand where that mentality comes from.
Yeah.
But that was my story. That was my journey. So I don't have a good relationship with the person who instructed me, but I just learned a lot in what I'm doing now, what not to do, how not to carry myself, what to pour into my students with so that they don't feel anything like how I felt at the beginning of my journey.
I absolutely love that, though. That's a good story, though, you know? And like, just even hearing you say that, it makes sense that you got 2,000 plus students.
Oh, yes.
It makes sense that you're able to go on tour. I hear the passion. And sometimes, you know, we don't want other people to have the same experience as us. So you learn what not to do.
Oh, yes.
How not to treat. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So that be the blessing in these full circle moments. I love that you were able to retire.
Right.
From behind the chair. 2021, 2022, and then you start teaching classes. One time for Florida, because Jacksonville, said, was your
my first out-of-state class.
So
always have love.
Before we get into detail your classes, what made you, like, what put the idea in your head? Like, maybe I should start, like, teaching people this and go on tour. Not just here in Atlanta in the Georgia area, but let me go city to city and start teaching people this skill. Where did that come about, and what made you finally pull the trigger on it? Because sometimes we have the thought, but it takes us a minute to do it. I want to hear your experience.
I'm going to tell you, girl. Okay, so as far as teaching goes, I'll always shout out my very first student, Chrissy. Shout out to Chrissy.
One time for Chrissy.
She pushed me to actually teach her. So I am such an unshady person. People would come to me for me to teach them, and I felt so unready. I would send them to my instructor. I used to send her lots of people.
Really?
Because this is back in the time when COVID was really running rampant, and people were ready to learn a new skill, ready to work from home and make extra money and stuff like that. So I used to send people to her all the time. And one of my, Chrissy, she was like, no, I'm not going to her. I'm going to you. And I'm like, well, girl, I'm not offering any classes at this time. She was like, no, well, when you're ready, I'll be there. She literally pushed me to teach her. And she was one of the sisters of my clients. So she just saw her nails and was like, I want her to be my teacher. And she just forced it upon me. She would not take no for an answer.
I love it.
And girl,
one time for Chrissy.
Yes, I was just like, you know what? Let me just put a kit together. We're going to sit here and learn how to do these nails. I was learning how to instruct. She was learning a new skill. I don't even know how long that class was. Way too long. We're both moving slow. Like it was such an experience that I treasure. And after that, it was just, oh my gosh, the plethora of girls who I was just doing their nails at the time. I didn't even know they were interested in doing nails. I think they had just followed me from when I first started. And they were like, okay, well, Jenni can do it. I can do it. Absolutely, you can. So after Chrissy and I posted that class, like on my story and my page, they were just flooding my DM. I want to learn. When's your next class? And I was cheap. I'm like a big stickler on when you start something, it's okay to start cheap. You want hands, you want people in your chair, you want content. We're not caring about the price right now. The money is going to come later.
Right.
And so I think my first class was $175, I think. I dare say $175.
My Lord.
And I wasn't working at the time, so I did have an open schedule, but I could wake up, do a client, do 2 one-on-ones in the middle of the day, do a client or 2 clients. I was like literally hustling, figuring out where I could put these clients in my schedule. And then I'm like, okay, I'm getting good at being an instructor. Let me raise the price a little bit. People were still coming. So Chrissy, I would say, was the first person that pushed me to actually teach. Now, when I did start teaching, I told y'all about that shade that I was getting. Now, when people are shady to me, my shade comes back even higher if you force me to that point. So I felt a lot of shade going on, like, oh, you're copying me. Oh, you're doing everything. So I'm like, you know what? I don't see anybody going out of town. I don't see anybody doing a tour.
Okay.
So you think I'm copying you? I'm finna show you how my way is different. And it was that thought, but it was also some moms. Some moms were hitting me up. My daughter's interested in doing nails. Will you be their instructor? Absolutely. So I taught some teenagers. Then I was getting DMs from Jacksonville, DMs from Houston, DMs from all over the place. Will you come and teach our girls? And I was like, sure, I can actually do this. I didn't have my son at the time, so I was literally a free spirit. And I put together like a mini tour. I don't even think it was a tour. Let me think back. I just put out that I was going to Jacksonville, I believe, and went to Jacksonville. I think I had 70 students that weekend. That first, I never had done a tour before. And then put out Houston. That one sold out. Put it on another city, sold out. And after like a few months of doing that, I was like, I cannot take my clients and pour into their nail sets like I want to, but also pour into my students and be out of town. I'm either going to be telling my clients no, which I hate doing. I'm like I tell you, a lot of my clients are close friends to this day. So I hated telling them no, but I'm like, this is a bag over here. 70 girls paying $250.
Right.
I'm making this money. That's way better than sitting in a chair. And so I just paused my books. I put up a post. I still have it in my archive back in, I think it was March 2022 or something like that. And I was like, exactly. I was like, hey, y'all, I'm taking a break from doing nails for a while. I'm doing some classes out of town, but I'll be back. And I literally never got the chance to go back. It just went crazy.
I love that for you. I love that so much. I do. Because, and when I was talking about the education, you said, you left North Carolina or whatever, and then you came back to Georgia and you was working and doing some classes, then whatever. I never went back. And then I just elevated. So the same thing.
Look, just elevated. I'm just playing.
Listen,
no, it's really good.
good.
I'm telling you, it's an amazing story. It's an amazing journey. I'll always cherish how I started. But I know I worked hard. One thing I will say, like, I worked very, very hard. I'm telling you, the hours that people would never think about taking a client, I was that nail tech.
And I feel like every person in like the beauty space, it is a flex to get from behind the chair.
It is.
And get to where you don't really got to be. You know what I'm saying? So I want to ask you though, because I feel like even though we're been in our space, like me, my first podcast episode was a Facebook Live in June of 2018. And it's not until like last season that I was like, you know what? I do this.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I feel like we're always tiptoeing in it until before we walk boldly in it.
Exactly.
So I know you started out teaching and you had only been doing nails for a few years.
Right.
Like, were you tiptoeing in it first and then got bold? Like, when did you feel like you got real confident in it though?
And I will say, I love how you call it seasons now. You see how you just went,
You
I went
feel
live,
me?
now I'm doing seasons. I love that.
Yeah.
Period.
We're here.
What I would say, I definitely was not walking boldly in it. I was kind of just like, oh, I'm here. I was still, doing check-in on pieces of paper, like writing people's names down, taking money on Cash App. There was no process. I just had like a bunch of my friends come and help me. Some of my previous students come help me from Atlanta and really just put it together. I definitely wasn't walking boldly, but I knew this is something that I was good at.
Yeah.
I knew that I could sell out a city that I never been in before. And I was like, okay, if we're gonna do this and we're gonna take it seriously, it's time to get some things in place. Now, because of the tour schedule and because everything is so back to back and I was still doing clients, I wouldn't say that it was really super organized until about 2 years in. I was just hustling. I was just going, like teaching, getting the kids together, teaching the girls, getting the content, but it really pushed me to be the organized and systematic person that I am now. Everything is a system for what we do, and it goes very seamless now versus how it was in the beginning. There was a lot of hiccups, a lot of trial and error, and I'm just thankful to be here still. Like, people are still booking Jenni the Block years later. I'm like, we're still doing this. When we started, I can't believe it.
I love it. 6 years in, baby.
6 years in.
So where did you learn the business from? Like, who taught you how to put systems in place, get organized with your business? Don't take Cash App, Zelle, Apple Pay, Venmo, all this and that.
And not be
who
organized.
Taught you, the organization part of this business?
I'm trying to think. I don't know if
Or
it
was
was
it just
particularly one set person, but I am a person that will pay for knowledge. I am a person that will pay for mentorship. So I always push people, if you want to get better at something, it's okay to take a step back and actually be mentored. You're not always the top of the class all the time.
Right.
I can actually take a step back and take a course. I've taken nail art classes. I've taken classes on, well, I've already, because I was in the hospitality industry, I know a lot about booking flights, booking hotels, venues. So that came in very handy with what we do. But just the business side to square, keeping your money in one place, taxes and things like that. My realtor, Renithia, I'll shout her out. She really helped me get organized with my finances.
I know your realtor.
Really? I love that.
I love her.
Yes.
And her daughter.
Yes. Big Lex. So yeah, I feel like she's very, very pivotal in my growth with my systems in place. And then I'm very intuitive with social media. Like I'll watch, I'll survey, I'll take notes. Like people that actually give out free information, I'll take notes and try to apply it to my life. But I'm at the stage where I'm like, if I like what somebody's doing and they offer a mentorship, I'm paying for it. I've paid $2,500 for mentorship. I paid $4,000 for mentorship and applied that to what I have going on. So I will say it's good if you do have the finances. It's okay to sit up under somebody. I've sat under better nail techs than me. I've sat under girls who are making way more than me, and it's helped me in what I do.
Do you still do nails?
Absolutely not.
Not yours, not nobody's.
Not nobody's. We are going to pick a student who wants to do my nails today. No, I'm just playing. I have actually become friends with a lot of nail techs in my city. Ayanla is somebody who I met at Marketing and Mimosas. Hey,
I'm trying to get her on.
Yes,
okay?
I'm like,
trying
girl,
to get you on
I
here.
literally just DM'd her a couple of days ago. I'm like,
She's
Sis,
amazing.
I need my nails done. I need my toes done. So I'll probably be going to her salon very, very soon. Her new
That girl. Love that.
But before then, I was just really having my students do my nails. They do a great job. They're just booked and busy, and I love that for them.
Good for you.
One thing I will say that people normally don't know from just looking at me is with my appointments, I can be a little disorganized. So I'm very organized when it comes to like my business, but some things do fall through the cracks. So I am very last minute when it comes to booking appointments. So I'm like, hey, you free tomorrow? Hey, you got an opening later? Like, they will tell you. I'm not the worst client, but as far as booking goes, it's, are you ready now? You ready tomorrow? You got something later. That's just my lifestyle, unfortunately. So my students are booked and busy. They put out their calendars like a month. That's what's kind of like trending now. Like they open their calendars a month in advance and they be booked up. So I'm like, I'm not finna squeeze in. I'm not finna be that client that's just demanding. Do you? And if you're not free, I'm gonna check with another one, see what's going on. But yeah.
I love that so much, Jenni. For real, for real. I have so many things to go over, but I want to get into motherhood a little bit.
Oh my goodness.
And the reason why is because you were doing this tour way back when you first got started and going to city and figuring out your whole flow. And you're still doing it now, but as a mom.
Yes.
So what does that look like? Balancing this right as a mom. You wear.
Shout out to JJ.
Shout out to JJ.
Know him. Sunshine. Being a mom is a little bit crazy. I was already crazy. I was already busy before. Now it's just like overly loaded, like I said.
And how you balance it?
And it's so funny. I actually found out I was pregnant when I was on tour in New Orleans. I will never forget that experience. We were on Bourbon Street. I was getting my palm read, which I really don't believe in that stuff, but we were just doing it for the aesthetic.
Yeah.
And the lady said something about a kid. And I was just like, I'm late on my period. Let me just see. And it just so happened to be JR.
Oh my gosh. That is too funny.
It is funny. It's super funny. I'll never forget that story. But motherhood is amazing. I love being a mom. I love being a boy mom. I was so set on being a girl mom, y'all. Like, I shed tears a little bit. Like, I think it was just the hormones and the emotions and stuff. But I was actually crying when I found out I was having a boy. I was like, no. Right. I really wanted to have a girl. I think because I do have a super girly side to me. And from what I do, like, I would love to get her into doing nails and go with her to get and us do matching little outfits. I always wanted that. But I was like, here I am having a boy. And it has been the most wonderful experience. I was just made to be a boy mom. Like,
that's what's up.
Boy moms are different, especially the boy moms that have that one son. Like, I know that's like a little trend on social media, but we really are different. We're so cool. I feel like my son keeps me young and energetic. I'll never feel my age, like just from running around with him and just being a part of everything that he has going on as he's transitioning through toddlerhood, like just being present in his life. Now, as far as how that correlates to my day-to-day affairs, it has been for sure a challenge. Being a single mom is not something that's easy. It's not for the weak. Sorry, y'all. Got a lash in my eye.
And then balancing all the businesses that you do.
It's a lot.
Right.
It's a lot. And my parents, I grew up in a household where they obviously wanted us to be married. So when I had to sit down talk with them and I wasn't married and was telling them I was having my son, my dad was like, we're going to be here to support you, but your life is going to get harder. And I was like, whatever. I could do anything. I'm a super mom. My life has gotten harder. He was not lying. I can laugh on that now, but he was for sure true. It has gotten harder, but it's also challenged me to be better at everything that I do. My son challenges me to be better, having to be organized, handle his schedule, my schedule. There's nothing that I can do without thinking of him first. That's been the biggest challenge. When you live 30 years doing what you want, living for yourself, I didn't have until I was 31. I was not prepared for the putting somebody else first, even my own offspring. That just goes to show how selfish we are just as human beings in general.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's not something that we purposely try to be. It's just how we're created. That's just, we're selfish. And so that's been the biggest adjustment, making sure that I put him first. Think of him always before I go out of town, before I do a tour day. It doesn't matter what it is. I always have to think of JJ first. That's been one of the biggest challenges. And then just time management. I'm very much so detailed with my schedule.
Right.
And when he's sick or can't go to school or something else happens and, his dad has to work and he can't go with him on the weekends, it throws everything off. So being adaptable, being able to be a chameleon, change, that's just a part of motherhood. And it's been something that I've had to just raise to the occasion and learn, just like everything else, because I'm a new mom.
Right. And I love, like, when we were talking prior to this interview, you said something that stood out to me, and I loved it so much because I'm not a mom, but I think this way as well.
Okay.
So you said there's 3 tiers to you.
Oh, yeah.
And you said your son, your home, and your business.
Right.
And putting into one will take from the other.
Right.
And you talked about mom guilt and how only you could judge you for how you spend your time and then I wrote all this down because it really stood out to me, and I want you to elaborate.
Okay.
You talked about how, sometimes I can't pick my son up at 4 o'clock. I got to pick him up at 6 o'clock because I may have this in the morning. Sometimes I feel guilty, like, Lord, I'm leaving my son here for these extra few hours. But you have to in order for the business to make sense. So I want to talk to you directly. And for anyone who's watching, who's in motherhood and they're trying to figure out this balance and mom guilt. Feeling bad about, balancing their time between business and personal and their child and home. How have you even mastered that, if you have mastered that? And how do you deal with the mom guilt when you are feeling those things?
Right. I feel like mom guilt is just a part of the game. We all mothers have experienced it at some point. And mom guilt is either coming from internal thoughts that we've curated inside of ourselves. It comes from other friends who are moms, or it comes from outside, what we view motherhood should be like based off of social media, based off of movies, based off of just what other moms are doing that we see out and about. And so I feel like we've all experienced it at some point. I had to really pinpoint where my mom guilt was coming from. I feel like I was getting a lot of mom guilt just internally from myself on what I saw my mom do and how my journey is completely different. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. She never really worked a job. She was a homemaker, and that's not my life. It's nothing close to it.
Right.
So that's one side of the mom guilt that I got. But I also feel like I was getting a little mom guilt from people around me, from people who I called my friends. My version of motherhood looks nothing like theirs because they're not business owners. And I was allowing myself to be mentally affected by the people around me. And so I know that's going into another topic, but it's very important the people who you surround yourself with. And we think of it so surface level, just with, she's not making this money and I'm not, so that's, we can't be friends. It's not about money to me. It's other things that are important to me, as far as how you support me, how you make me feel, how I make you feel. And I feel like I was getting a lot of mom guilt just from people who are around me as well. So that's that side to it. How I manage being a mom and how that correlates with the 3 tiers, like I said.
That was good.
It takes a lot of even balance. So I do put a lot into my business, but I do put a lot into my son. I do put a lot into my household. And all 3 are almost never on the same page at one time. So I have to ignore the mom guilt when that's happening and push through, but find time to bring the other thing up. So for example, if my business is going really well and I'm having to pour into a lot of tour dates, my teachers are canceling, they can't make it, and I'm just having to be present in all these cities and stuff like that. 9 times out of 10, my house looks a mess. Okay. I had to just do a garage renovation recently, and I cannot believe how my garage looked. It was all over the place, just filthy. And so that just goes to show, like, okay, my tour's doing well. We're making money. My business is good, but look at how we're living. Look at what we're coming home to. Look at what we're closing the door and trying to ignore for later. This mess. And same thing, like when my house is clean, everything's looking good. My business might not be doing as well, but my son and everything that we're doing together is up. So finding that balance is very, very tricky. And I do have to get out of my own mind because I feel like that's Satan. That's always the devil trying to creep into our heads about what we're not doing. Oh, look at JJ over there suffering while this is doing good. He's not really suffering. He's got a roof over his head. He's got 2 parents that love him. One might not be here, but they still love him. He's got food. You know, he's got a good school. So it's just kind of zoning out when it comes to the distractions. Having a plan is very, very important to me. I literally plan everything to the T. And so the biggest thing that I have to worry about is when things don't go how to plan, how I react. I used to just be I'm a little bratty. I can be a little bratty when it comes to things not going my way because I'm like, I worked hard. I've created this lifestyle for myself. There should be nothing not going my way. But that's selfishness. Okay?
Yeah.
And it's like, you have
not
to.
reality
it's
either.
not reality. Like, we're not the Beverly Hills lifestyle over here. Like, we ain't got there yet. Relax. It'll be okay. So just finding balance. And it's not something that I've mastered. I think it's something that will continue to, what I'll have to continue to work on until my son becomes more self-sufficient. I feel like as he gets older and he gets more in tune with what he's doing, decides his path, gets more responsible for his own needs, then I'll kind of be able to be like, oh, okay, I can finally relax now. But I mean, motherhood doesn't really relax until they're 18, and then it still goes on after that.
Go on, okay.
Exactly. So it's just a challenge that I take on, and I feel like it's just a part of my life. So get over it.
Get over
through it. You know, we gotta just hustle through it.
I absolutely love it. I do. You know, let me see. It's so many. How do you set boundaries? You know, like and you know, within the balance of, you know, your son, your business, and home, like, where do you throw Jenni in the mix? You know, right? Where do you throw Jenni in that mix? And you know, what boundaries do you have to set up to throw Jenni in that mix? You know what I mean? I'm curious to know about that because it's hard to set boundaries sometimes.
Like with other people?
With other people, even in business, you know, like Jalen said one time she had to go from not my personal number no more, email only, not a certain time, like nobody can't be contacting me all hours of the night when it comes to business. You know, I'm just curious to know what that looks like for you.
I struggle with boundary setting. Like, I to be honest, the term of boundaries is a new term. I feel like that's not really something that I grew up with. That's not something that I learned. Like I said, I was born in a Caribbean household, so we're just, I don't know. I feel like we just push through everything. But it's good to set boundaries. I'm finding out that some of these new topics that are coming out and new things that we're supposed to be instilling within our lifestyle are important. And we just didn't explore them until we're older now.
Until we're here and got to.
Yes, and boundaries have already been like ran through and people we've had to cut off. So I am not very good at setting boundaries. I feel like there's people that can still get anything out of me at some point because I'm such a kind-hearted, giving person. And I've had to learn things the hard way. I feel like, and I'm a Cancer, so I'm a feeler. But
love me a Cancer.
My boundaries have come from going through things the hard way And my mom's no longer here. She's passed. But
I'm
something
sorry.
it's okay. Something she always used to tell me was, Jennifer, you are somebody that has to go through stuff. I could tell you that this stove is hot. You're still going to try to touch it. I'm telling you, this trajectory that your life is going on is going to end here, but you're still going to go through it. I've always been that type of person.
Okay.
So I feel like people who have always pushed me to set boundaries, it's been because I've had to. It's not because I'm just like, oh, I have this boundary.
Okay.
I have this boundary. I'm this boundary person. They've all been like forced on me.
They had to be forced on you.
Now that I've kind of entered this new era of close to 35.
One time for new eras. Yes,
Okay.
we love a new era.
I feel like I know what my boundaries are more. I feel like I'm more aware of what red flags are in front of me when it comes to people. And I do have some boundaries set as far as women go. I've fallen out with some people who I thought were really close to me, and it's threw me for a loop. It's people who I've never expected to not be here in this moment of my life. And so it's caused me like, boop, that's a boundary. Like if somebody else tried to come and do the same thing, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Like it put me on awareness.
I love that for you.
Now, business boundaries, I really don't have a time where people can't contact me. I just don't answer. So when I tell you my business phone is going off, like I will even tell my students, y'all can text me at 3:00 in the morning. I mean, I answer you, but when I see it, I will, okay? I'll look at that. They'll sit that you did and give you the feedback. Sometimes I might answer you at 3 because I feel like I stay up all night. So I don't really have too many business boundaries. I'm very much so, I'm here for all my students. I'm here for all my mentees at any time. You can call me for a crisis. My client's nail is falling off. She got a greenie. What should I do? I'm going to be there to answer you. So I don't really have
2,000 students
I'm
too now.
telling you, girl, we're at 3,500 plus now.
Listen,
that was a little low.
Okay, these old numbers. Let me stop playing with you. Put some respect on your name.
There's a lot of girls online and in person, but I still try to make time for all of them. So I don't really have too many boundaries as far as my business goes. As far as motherhood, I do. I have some boundaries with my son's dad. I feel like baby dads, that's a term that like, I don't know. They really live up to their name, okay? So, we got to cut this off. Don't talk to me at this time. Please don't try me. Like, I'm done. So I do have boundaries with my son's dad. So there's some parts of my life that I feel like I'm good at setting boundaries. There's other parts that I probably need to work harder at. But I feel like, this is just the life that I have. It's unpredictable, I will say. As much as I try to control it and keep a reins on it, it's always showing me something new. And I love it.
I have a few more questions. Okay. I have to ask you, what has motherhood taught you about yourself that you didn't know before? That now, since you're a mom, you're like, you know what?
Well, back to what I said earlier, I really didn't realize how selfish of a person I was until I became a mom. Yeah, girl.
Okay.
Very, very selfish. To the
Lord,
point,
that might be.
I'm telling you, girl, like, I started my business at a time where, like I told you, I always like pampering myself. And so being a mom, sometimes I'm not always able to make the appointments that I want to the appointments that I've gotten for years. I love getting my hair done, love getting my nails done, love, body massages, all that type of stuff, going on vacation. And I feel like when I became a mom, I really had to wake up and realize you cannot keep thinking like you can just move without putting your son first. And it took me a minute. It took me a good minute to get there. Yes. And let me tell you a little story.
Okay.
So I was pregnant. I went to go see my doctor just for a regular checkup, and it was the day before I was supposed to go to Miami and do my, what are they called? My baby shots. What are those called? Like when you're taking
maternity shoots.
Yes,
maternity
shoot. I was flying to Miami to do it out there. Had everything scheduled, the Airbnb, the photographer, the dress, everything was ready to go. Had the doctor's appointment, and she's like, "Your cervix has shrunk. You need to go to the hospital today." And you're not leaving. If you hop on that plane, you will have that baby on this plane. And I was like 24 weeks. I was way early. Okay.
Wow.
So I am literally fighting my doctor. That's how selfish I was. I was like, absolutely not. I said, I'll be all right. He'll be fine. Clamp it. Do whatever you got to do. I'm going to Miami. I'm getting my
maternity shoes.
Everything is booked. I'm not canceling. I was getting my hair done out there. You know how much the Miami girls cost? I was doing everything. My doctors really had, not to tie me down, but they were like, you can't leave. You can't leave the hospital. It's got to that point.
Interesting.
And girl, my selfishness was just really like rampant in that time. And so that was the first sign that I had to, realize within myself.
Like,
You're a little selfish.
Before he was
You're a little
even here, it's
self-centered.
like, damn,
Yeah,
I'm being hit with
and technically,
this.
you're not supposed to be that way. You're supposed to be, more. That's the mom guilt, more motherly, more in tune with what the baby wants.
Yeah.
I was not there. I just was not there yet. I was still working out heavily. I feel like that's what really caused my cervix to shrink. Because I was like, I'm not gonna be big. I'm gonna have this baby and pop out and still be fine. I was just doing so much self-centered stuff, girl.
Yes.
I hate to even say this on camera because I don't think I've ever told anybody this.
But somebody else need to hear this.
This will help somebody. I'm hoping.
Somebody else need to hear this.
Right.
Honestly, because I have a cousin who just had a child a few years ago, and I think she's in her phase of realizing, like, Lord, I am a mom. Like, it's me first. Got to deal with da 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 da. And I get that, and I actually don't have any, and I've always said, like, I know. I've always said that I'm going to be the one that have a child and it's going to throw me for a loop. Because I've been a get up and go for as long as I can remember.
Girl, like, I literally would go anywhere.
I moved here on a one-way ticket.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Stuff like that, that's the kind of stuff you can't do no more. So, one of the things that I've definitely learned just through motherhood is how selfish I am internally. And so I've had to fight that, grow from that, get better, pray about it. Because, I feel like that's not of God. Like, being self-centered and only thinking about myself when you have a little one, that's not what he wants.
Right.
So I've definitely gotten much better. Okay, JJ comes first at all times now. He's almost 4, but you know what? We're here.
Yeah.
So that would be one of the biggest things that I've learned being a mother. And then the other one is just talking through stuff. Like I said, the baby dads be living up to their role. And they know exactly where to hit you to bring out the argumentative side. And it has taken quite a bit because this was not what I envisioned for my motherhood life.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
It's taken a bit to stay on top of that, be a better communicator, not rush to cussing him out and going crazy and just being wild, but really talking through issues and scheduling stuff. That's another thing that I feel like I've learned.
I know right now, last month your tour started in Miami and Atlanta first. Right. But you're continuing tour. What does that look like for you, especially now as a mom? When you first started touring, you wasn't a mama.
I wasn't.
But now you're a
It's
mom.
crazy.
You're getting ready to continue this tour on. What does that look like these days? What's some cities we hitting to? I've done a lot of research. Miami and Atlanta, you started
probably
with.
know where I'm going more than
Listen, y'all, she's in D.C. She's in New Jersey with it. She's everywhere with it. I think this is amazing. So how are you feeling balance with this? And what is your most exciting thing about tour? What do you look forward to the most?
Oh, girl. Well, the biggest thing that I love about touring is meeting the girls, honestly. It used to be traveling and being in a different city all the time, but that doesn't excite me anymore, unfortunately, because our spring tour is 23 cities. That's 23 weekends gone. Then we do a fall tour, so that's probably another 10, 15. I'm gone. I travel more than the average person does in a lifetime. I'll travel more than a year. And it's just not exciting. I actually hate the airport. I hate being on a plane. I hate traveling. It's such a stressful thing to have to deal with being in Atlanta and dealing with the airport here. It's a breeze in other cities. This airport is crazy. But one thing that I love about tour is just meeting the girls, seeing their faces. I teach a lot of teenagers. That's my biggest passion. I love teaching the youth. I love hearing about their entrepreneurship goals, where they want to be, how ambitious they are at such a young age. I love hearing their stories. A lot going on with our teenage community that we don't think about. Just hearing stuff from their moms, girls thinking about being suicidal and how my class turned things around. All types of things. It's such a beautiful thing. Teaching the youth. And I feel like it's a God-given charge. It's not something that he's just going to give to anybody. I feel like it was given to me by God. And so I take it very seriously, but I love meeting the girls. Love being in a new city, meeting new faces. Not the journey getting there, but being there.
Yeah.
And as far as some exciting things that we have coming up, Miami and Atlanta went really well last month. Atlanta, I always start off in ATL. I feel like it's a good kickoff.
Got to.
It's the easiest city to do because my nail supply vendor is here. All of my help is here. So it's very easy teaching. We had 40 students in the room in Atlanta. That's probably the biggest Atlanta class that I've taught at one time.
Really?
I normally split them up in different, I'll split them up like on Saturday. So we'll do like 20 and then 10 and then some more on Sunday. But that was a room full of 40 girls at one time. That's probably the most that I taught. So Atlanta showed out. We have our Texas tour coming up in March. So we just finished doing Dallas. I I have Houston coming up, San Antonio, and then I'm hitting like my heavy hitter cities, everything up north, Jersey, New York, Philly. They show us so much love. So
Really?
those are probably my favorite cities now. They're the most moneymaker cities.
That's real now.
I love that. And I love also empowering my team. I feel like I always shout out London. She's probably the youngest teenager that started helping me in the very beginning when I started touring. She was 12 and now she's about to turn 18 and she's been assisting me all these years. She started her own nail journey. She's excelling as a nail tech and it's beautiful to see. So I love seeing how my team has grown, how some of them have become moms.
Wow.
Some of them have graduated college at this point in life, and just knowing where they started 6 years ago when I first started, it's just amazing to see.
What do you have coming up for 2026? Okay. Any other things that we can look forward to from Jenni The Boss, Beyond the Chair Academy, any of your brands for 2026? We got a lot going on. Will you be at Marketing Mimosas this year?
Yes, I love Marketing Mimosas. It's so fun. I can't wait to come this year and just see what she has in store. I feel like I went to this past year. That was my first time going, but
us too.
I've seen content from her other ones, and I'm like, how could she get any bigger? Every time it just gets bigger, but I'm like, wow.
I can't even fathom it, but that's why I can't wait to go, because what are you finna do different?
Right, exactly. So I am excited for Marketing Mimosas. Tour is going on, so I'm excited for that. Beyond the Chair Academy, I relaunched it back in January, so I'm really excited to open up my first mentorship cohort after my relaunch. I take my mentorship probably a little more serious than the average person. I don't really even open up having mentees until I know that I can pour my all into them. I feel like there's a lot of half-ass mentorship going on, and I'm not that type of person.
At least you ain't one of them.
No, girl. I'm like, I'm pouring into you. If you paying this $2,500, you paying this $1,000, we are gonna get you where you want to be.
Yeah.
So I take care on when I open it up. So I'm very excited about opening up my new cohort. Girls are beating my door down to mentor them. And I'm like, let me wait until it's the right time. So I'm excited for that to come.
I have to bring up you creative directing one of your mentees, though. She came all the way from Florida to Atlanta for you to do that. So is that a new lane that you'll be stepping into more and more? And what was that like to do it for the first time? How did it make you feel?
So. We are going to pray. We are going to hope that God brings forth more clients for that lane, because I got so many compliments after that. And
really,
a couple of my really close friends told me, Jen, I think you work better outside of being on camera than actually in the shoot, in the camera. And I was like, what y'all trying to say?
What y'all trying to say?
Girl, I shoot content with my videographer and my team all year long. So I'm always behind the camera. Well, in front of the camera, I'm sorry. But this time I was behind the camera. And I loved it. I loved creating a campaign for another nail tech.
That's good.
I'm not saying that everybody can't do it, but it's a different type of thing when you're a nail tech and you create something for another nail tech in the field. It's like you just know. So she was launching her tour. She's already put everything out. So shout out to Maya.
Going on tour too.
Y'all can follow her. Yes.
So
she's going on her own tour, and it's going to be a Florida tour. She's starting off small in her state. And so she wanted to release a campaign that embodied that showcase what is to come and showcase her journey up until this point, because teaching classes is one thing, but going on an actual tour and getting booked is another thing. I feel like it's like one of the top things that you can do as somebody in the beauty industry. And she's 22. So, I'm 35. I'm like, girl, you are winning. You are doing it. And we had 3 weeks to get it done. It literally just fell into my lap. We were having a normal mentorship call, and she was like, I'm thinking about doing it. I'm like, girl, really? And I was like, okay, well, what if you hired me as your creative director?
Wow.
And it just happened. So I coordinated everything. I had my makeup artist come, my videographer, my BTS friend. I had my friend JoJo come. We rented out her studio, but I also hired her personally to help me creative direct. Because this is something new.
And JoJo knows what she's doing.
I'm telling you, and I will pay for help. That's one thing about it. So I'm like, what is your fee? I'm not going to charge Maya that. This is something that I want. I want you helping me, working with me, getting this done and making sure that it's perfect. So she was very pivotal in helping with that. Photographer that I work with, Marcus, he was awesome. Everything just went perfect. And the campaign is beautiful. Y'all go check it out. Check it out on my page. Check it out on Maya's page. It's an amazing campaign showcasing her nail tour. So I'm excited to see how she gets booked and busy and more clients. Bringing on more nail techs. I feel like nail techs we're very much so homebodies. We are very much so stay out of the spotlight. That's just how we are. And it's like, we got to come forth. Like, we need to put ourselves out there. If y'all ain't going to speak, I will. If y'all ain't going to represent, I will. Come on out the shadows. Do your brand shoot. Do your videography. Get that stuff done because
that stuff is important.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, and you don't realize like how important it is, you know, until you're just, again, going to marketing must has changed my life. Mm-hmm. It really, really did.
What we're not doing as far as marketing goes.
About what we're not doing. Okay.
Yeah, how behind we are.
I was like, oh, okay, baby, I got to get it together.
Yes.
I've been posting every day now for like the last few weeks, and that's just because I got that on my mind. The stuff that marketing was like, girl, you got to be consistent. Okay, girl, just post the content, sis, get it out, you know.
It's important.
It is important. So I want to ask you, like, is there anything else that we can look forward to in 2026? What's next for Jenni The Boss, who's retired behind the nail chair? Right. You're creative directing right now, but what's next for you in this lane? You're turning 35 this year, which I'm super excited about.
Say it
I know, girl. Listen.
I don't feel 35, and I feel like I don't look 35. I definitely don't feel it, even if I do look it, but that's thanks to my son.
30s is the prime. These are the beginning of prime years. Nobody can tell me otherwise. I've been loving the 30s. I've been loving it. Yeah.
I love my 30s.
So, you know, what's coming up for you? And I forget.
That's the other thing. People will ask me, and I'm like, am I about to be 34? I don't know. I feel like you forget after 33. But
you definitely do. Yeah.
Something else that's in store, not to say too much, but I have had on my heart to host a nail event. But not like your typical nail event, like not your typical event that you see out here in Atlanta. I want to actually host a teen nail competition. Where they have a grand prize. I'll probably do like 1,000 for the grand number one, 500 for the second. And then I already spoke to, because I like manifesting, I already spoke to my nail supply store out here on doing like a gift card for like the third place winner. But I really want to have girls come into Atlanta and compete.
That's going to be good.
It is. It's going to be good. But not only are they going to be competing, I also want to have it as like an expo style so that people who aren't competing, if they're nail techs or interested in learning about becoming a nail tech as a young person, they can come and get different things done at stations. So I'll have like a henna tattoo girl. I'll have like a game where you have a timer and you got to style your own junk cases or junk whatever, iPad cases. Have somebody doing pedicures. Have some vendors doing other stuff, food trucks. I have like a whole vision for that. So will I be able to make that happen?
Yes.
By the time I want to, we're going to say yeah.
Yes. Okay.
And my previous instructor gave me a really good idea because I love July. That's the month I was born. I love the summertime. I'm a summer baby. And she was like, why don't you make the theme of the competition be the girls have to design the best, the perfect birthday nail set for you.
Oh, I
like
love
a press-on set.
That's good.
And then I would bring in some other nail techs to be judges. So we'd have a panel to judge the girls on how they compete. And then we choose the first prize, second prize, third prize winner. That's something that I want to do. And I want to do it in July. So I was talking to actually it was Maya's sister because she does host events. And I was like, how early do I need to put this out before, to give people enough time to book?
Yeah.
And she was like 3 months. So I was like, okay, March, April, May, June, July.
It's almost that time.
It's coming.
Yeah.
So I need to actually put forth the effort to get that done because it's something that's been on my heart for about 1.5 years now. And I'm always like, I don't have time. I got something else doing. But it's time. Like, I feel like this is my time. This is my year. I'm feeling very, very great about everything that's going on. So
you should.
That's something that we're going to say is coming up.
Yes,
so
listen.
Y'all hold me accountable on that.
Where can they follow you, stay in contact with you since you got this amazing competition coming up and I want to enter? I don't even do nails. I'm for the enter.
So my main hub for everything, Jenni, is my Jenni The Boss. That's probably the one that you guys follow me on. So it's JenniTheBoss._. Anything Jenni is there. Now, I have 2 branch off pages. Jenni Nail the Block Inc. is my nail tour page, my nail class page. So everything for the event will probably more so be on there, and I'll just collaborate with my Jenni The Boss page. And then Beyond the Chair Academy is my mentorship page. Now, my mentorship page is only for girls who are already nail techs who are looking to expand and elevate. So we keep my mentees over there, my students at Jenni Nail the Block, and then everything fun, Jenni The Boss.
And I want to ask you, okay, number one, if you wasn't doing nails, what would you be doing?
Somewhere hustling, making money. I don't know.
Some hustling, getting it somewhere.
Girl, I'm telling you, like, I don't know if I'd be still working 2 jobs. Hopefully not. But one thing I will say about myself, I can ace an interview. So I never worried about, like, I would be not liking where I'm working at and be applying for some other place while I'm still working. And I knew once they sent me that interview, I was like, oh, I'm going to get this job. And I always did. So I'd probably be working somewhere. And once I get in the door, I'm elevating. So I started off as like a receptionist, then it was admin, then it was assistant to the general manager.
Got you.
It was just elevating. So I'd probably be working somewhere just at the top. Okay?
Period. Stop playing with her because we don't settle. Dust settles. Okay? Dust settles, not us. And then my last thing would be, what top 3 things? And I'm going to let you think about this and do my little rollout. But what top 3 things, if there is anything, that you wish you knew before you got into this lane, though? Whether it's concerning touring or whatever, what top 3 things? But everyone tuned in right now, make sure you like today's episode. Make sure you comment your favorite part. And make sure you subscribe to the Ladies in Motion YouTube channel every single Wednesday. I sit down with women that's winning in the local community, and you do not want to miss the opportunity to hear from one of these women out here. We got women that's come from Chicago, women from Atlanta, women from Florida, women from Houston. They done came from everywhere to sit right here. Carolina, one time for Carolina. Yes. Came right here to sit in this chair and tell their story and their start and how they got started and the success that they're in today. So make sure you follow us on all platforms because we're going to continue to spotlight these women and give them their flowers while they're here and still can smell them, okay? But, Jenni, back to you.
Oh my God. So the biggest number one, and it's so cliche now, but somebody who just had no idea of business as a whole, knowing that your friends and family will not be your biggest supporters.
That's good, girl.
That I wish I knew. I didn't know. Like, everybody knows it now because we've said it. Yeah. Our generation has let y'all know down here, don't be expecting your friends and family to be your biggest supporters. But I didn't know. 6 years ago, Jenni. I didn't know. I'm thinking like my friends, I'm thinking my family, that everybody was just going to be on the Jenni train, and they were not. And it was a very rude awakening, and something very hard that I had to deal with. And it was something where I'm like, you're not my friend. You're not my friend. I was just like, boom, boom. And it's like, wait a minute. Now I've kind of learned to understand the human dynamic. Okay, they may have another nail tech that they go to. They may not want to cheat on her with me.
Get it.
Doesn't mean they don't support you. So now I've kind of just had to gauge certain things.
That's good
I'll
advice.
still be quick to say, okay, if you don't repost, you don't like something,
because that's free.
Look, get out of it. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. But
girl,
that would be one of the biggest things that I wish I knew before. Strangers will support you wholeheartedly.
That's
before
good,
the people
Jenni.
that you love and care about. So that's number one. Number two, I wish I had known just a little bit more about the systems that I could put in place to make my business easier. I feel like I made my life a little bit difficult in the beginning by not having systems and not having a plan, just kind of going with the flow because I'm a going with the flow person. That doesn't really work when it comes to running a business and making money and people depending on you.
In your industry, what is an example of one of those systems? Like,
girl, Square.
And so just the way you take your payments, right?
Girl, they need to promote me on their page. They need to have me be an ambassador. I love Square.
Okay.
They charge, they do all that. I don't care. It makes the consumer feel so much more comfortable knowing that my booking process is seamless. My booking process used to be so difficult, so shady. I don't even know how people were trusting me to get the job done. But I've never scammed anyone. That's one thing I will say. Never, ever have I or will I. But they were putting their faith in me when this stuff was all over the place. Now everything is seamless. The booking process is perfected to this point. And I would say that Square is one of the biggest things that have helped my booking system stay seamless.
Okay.
Offering pay in 4. My students love that.
Oh,
my class ain't cheap, okay? But being able to split it up is really, really helpful for my consumer. Having somebody else to handle your marketing. I promote and I post myself, but I have somebody to create my graphics. I have somebody to help me create my website.
Yeah.
That would be something in the beginning that I would try to do myself because I'm like just trying to get it done. I don't want to pay somebody.
Right.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Having somebody else do that is definitely another system helper. So that would be the second thing that I wish I had known in the beginning. Okay, let's get some systems started. I probably would have made and saved way more money than I have now just from having that in place. As far as motherhood, I had this whole fairy tale thing from the photo shoot. I mean, it's just not downhill from there, but I mean, just completely different. I ended up having a C-section. I didn't expect that.
Right.
I thought his dad was going to be more present, didn't expect where we are now. I just thought I thought my mom would be here.
Right.
That was the biggest thing.
Yeah,
my mom passed before my son turned 1. That was something that I was not expecting at all.
Man.
And grandmothers are so important. It's the mom's mom that's so important, I feel like, for the kid. The dad's mom, yeah, you do your part. But it's like
Right,
the
but the
mom's mom.
mom's
We're always so
mom.
close with that grandmother.
You're right.
That really, really threw me for a loop. And I feel like, sometimes I feel like I'm out here by myself. Because it's like you always going to have your grandmother. When everything is going wrong, you can call your mom and she's going to either have an answer or be able to pick them up or just whatever it is. And so that's been something that's been really hard for me to navigate. And I wish I didn't have that fairy tale having a kid's story in my mind. I wish I would just have gone into it with not thinking anything.
Right.
It's like, okay, this is a new challenge. Can't wait to see what's in store. I had everything planned. I had a whole vision of what I thought it was going to be. And it hasn't been that. And so it's been adjusting. And it's hard, but we're here.
Yes, and you're here looking good, feeling good, inspiring the people and your purpose, which is a blessing. How does Jenni stay on point, especially as a mentor and a teacher? Like because you're not really behind the chair, but you're teaching. So how do you make sure that you're up to par, even as a coach and mentor, to teach, your students things that maybe this wasn't even a thing when I was behind the chair, but now it is. And you're like, how do you keep yourself on point with how things are evolving?
It's not always about being on point. I feel like being myself is the best thing that I can do for my students, for my mentees. I don't fit the typical Atlantean entrepreneur female box.
Okay, in what way?
I tried. I feel like the socialite scene is very fake at times.
Okay.
It's very, I have the Chanel bag, I drive this, but I got no bread in the fridge, I'm broke. It's very facade-ish here. It's very fake, I feel like, in a lot of scenes here. And
see that.
I don't really fit the dynamic. I don't fit the look all the time. I like long ghetto nails. I like hair down to my butt. I don't like the curly little short bobs all the time. I'm not always the most modest. I like being myself.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a lot of nail techs. Most nail techs are very eccentric. That's just something that's very common amongst all of us. We do our own thing. We don't let anybody steer us away from who we are. And so being myself is the best thing that I could be for my students. I love showing them you might not fit into this category where everybody wants you to fit. They want you to be poised all the time. They want you to show up being sedity, looking down on people. They want you to show up with the Chanel, but they want you might not fit into that. It's okay. You can still make a lot of money just being who you are. Being a little ghetto is okay. Okay? Like, it's okay.
I love it.
Let it just be. I love it. There's been even friends of mine that have tried to conform me into this thing that I'm just not. I love being a tomboy. I like going to sporting events. I like wearing what I wear, doing what I do. And I just feel like showing that to my students, showing them what's possible on this side of entrepreneurship is the best thing that I can do for them. Being myself. That's how I keep it on point. Making sure that I'm in check and I'm not showing them a false narrative of what they think business ownership should be like.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely not. Like, I'm gonna show you the real. It's not always pretty. I show up to my classes sometimes in my bonnet, my what are they, Crocs? I'll change before the students walk in, but how I get there, I may look a little ratchet. But when y'all come in, we're gonna be on point. We're gonna go with it. Exactly.
That's what's
but
up.
It's okay. And so I feel like that was a really great question because I love speaking on that. I feel like there's a lot of people that move to our city and feel like they don't fit in.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that move to our city and they hang out in these certain crowds and end up getting hurt or they end up feeling like, oh my gosh, I don't belong anywhere. You're okay. A lot of us feel like that even being here for a while. But be yourself. Be who you are. Show up confidently in what you like and who you are. And that's what's going to bring you the most business. Being myself has brought me the most business. If I tried to be like anybody else, I'd be broke. Okay.
And we ain't broke. So, hey. Okay, what's all for showing up is you, authentically you, Jenni The Boss. Y'all make some noise for my girl. Thank you so much just for being here, telling your story. I feel like we need to do this again.
We do.
Because we have so much more that we could talk unto. We need to do a part 2.
Yes.
Okay, so everyone tuned in right now, make sure you stay tuned in, okay? And just follow Ladies in Motion across all platforms because we always have Women That's Winning right here. And I cannot wait to just spend the rest of my years here, my time, year here
Yes.
shining light and spotlighting on more women that's winning, and hopefully a part 2 with Jenni.
Yes, of course. Anytime. I'd love to come back.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank y'all for having me.
If you're tuned in, bye. Until next time, hit the bell button so you already know what time it is when it's time. Okay? Bye.
Bye, y'all.